The Witch from Mercury is a show that's practically exploding with potential. A Gundam show with a fun, lighthearted story and characters should be a breath of fresh air for the franchise. However, all expectations slowly unravel as the show moves forwards. Starting off with the positives, the show is gorgeous, objectively one of the best looking mecha shows in history, and along with beautiful music and stellar sound effects, every fight ends up being stunning to watch, especially the early season fights against Guel and the 1v6 against Shadik. Another positive is the character of Suletta Mercury. She's one of, if not my favorite Gundam protagonist in history, as while she's so different from the usual child soldiers, her dynamic with Mercury and her mother make her a standout character in this cast. Also, Guel is phenomenal. I can't not mention him as one of the best side characters in all of Gundam. We all love Bob. However, we must now get into the negatives, and it's sadly fairly early on in the series where they become known. First off, the romance aspect of a series where the marketing is focused on an LGBT couple is shockingly poor. Mjorin and Suletta get about 6 scenes together where they're directly shown being affectionate for each other in the whole show, as most of the first season is built on characters like Elan trying to get with Suletta, which feels like they were forced to include. Along with that is the other characters and how lacking they all feel. The main villain, Prospera, is fine. She is kind of exceptional for Gundam villain standards. However, everyone else in the cast feels extremely underdeveloped, aside for the 2 I mentioned in the last segment. Mercury is the biggest victim of this, as she gets a large amount of the focus in Season 2 due to her father and her breakup with Suletta. However, it feels like Mercury never really had the development she needed throughout the show to make the relationship feel real, as all it takes for Suletta to get over it is about 1 episode and eating with her friends. This is the first and most obvious example of the rushed production of Season 2, and how this is one of the only Gundam shows to not be 50 episodes, and it really shows. The Witch from Mercury was clearly only produced as a filler show before the Gundam Seed Freedom film, even more apparent as the trailer for that movie literally dropped on the same day as the G-Witch finale, and that strongly hurt the pacing and character development in the show. The final problem with the series is the politics, which, while a staple of Gundam and extremely good in most installments, feel lacking in G-Witch as they continuously attempt to add nuance to a political narrative that lacks a lot of depth. The story of corporations draining the Earth's resources would be interesting, if not for the series attempting to make us feel bad for some of the people who are directly at fault for that issue, such as Delling. Along with that, the storyline kind of just resolves at the end with Elan walking away from the council and attempting to set up more to follow with him. However, because the show is over and they need to make way for the Gundam Seed Freedom film, that's it. The show has to end. There's no resolving this conflict. If I could change anything, I would have made the finale Guel against his brother Lotta and let a movie finish off the Project Zero storyline. However, that's not the case, and even if it feels rushed, I'm grateful we got G-Witch in the first place. If you're interested in the series or love the characters, I highly recommend reading the currently running manga, Mobile Suit Gundam, The Witch from Mercury, Frontiers and Glory Days, or Youth Frontier, depending on where you read it. It's a canon alternate universe written by the same crew who made G-Witch, focusing around Suletta and Mjorin's relationship, and it's literally everything Gundam Witch could have been, but without any of the time constraints. All in all, Gundam The Witch from Mercury is a good series with multiple issues. However, if you can overlook those, you'll have an amazing time starting with this as one of your first Gundam series. Hey guys, Claire here. Just wanted to say thanks for watching, and if you want more Gundam reviews, please show some support to the video. These are clearly inspired by Up From The Depths Godzilla reviews, and because I've been on a Gundam binge lately, I decided to do one of these to gauge interest. Subscribe if you want to see more.